Hey, Catalina Foothills, this is Rob Pendley, and it'll be my privilege to look with you at Romans chapter 7 this coming Sunday. And I wanted to start reading at verse 4 and following of chapter 7. My brothers and sisters, you have died to the law through the body of Christ, so that you may belong to another, to him who has been raised from the dead, in order that we may bear fruit for God. For while we were living in the flesh, our sinful passions, aroused by the law, were at work in our members to bear fruit for death. But now we're released from the law, having died to that which held us captive, so that we serve not under the old written code, but in the new life of the Spirit. So you see how Paul's language would beg the question that Paul now asks and then answers, beginning in verse 7. What then shall we say? That the law is sin? By no means. Yet if it had not been for the law, I would not have known sin. I would not have known what it is to covet if the law hadn't said, you shall not covet. But sin, seizing an opportunity through the commandment, produced in me all kinds of covetousness. Apart from the law, sin lies dead. I was once alive apart from the law, but when the commandment came, sin came alive and I died. The very commandment that promised life proved to be death to me. For sin, seizing an opportunity through the commandment, deceived me, and through it killed me. So the law is holy, and the commandment is holy and righteous and good. Did that which is good then bring death to me? By no means. It was sin producing death in me through what is good, in order that sin might be shown to be sin, and through the commandment might become sinful beyond measure. So in Romans 7, verses 7 through 13, Paul is saying, listen, you have died to the law. And some people say, well, then something's wrong with the law. And Paul says, no, there's nothing wrong with the law. The law is not sinful. It's holy and righteous and good. Well, then what's the problem? The problem is us. The problem is sin. The problem is that we're so messed up that we will actually take God's good and holy commandments and laws, and we will abuse them, and we will twist them, and we will use them for purposes they were never given to be used for. And so Paul says, y'all, the problem's not the law. The problem is sin. The problem is you. And so you need a deliverer. You need Jesus, who is going to not only deliver you from the law. Remember, you died to the law in the death of Christ, but Jesus not only delivers you, but then he's got to reorient our understanding of the role of the law. What does it mean for the follower of Jesus to interact with the commandments of God? And so it's a powerful thing where it's going to humble us about how weak we are and how quickly we can mess up even good gifts. And yet how great our God is, who delivers us, who has broken the back of sin and death, and who now orients us to follow him into life and no longer into destruction, but to bear fruit for him because we now belong to him. All right. You guys have a great week. We'll talk more about this on Sunday. Thank you for your time.